So it's been a very big month, and so I'm going to catch up you all on what's been happening. At the end of March, our grandmother on my husband's side, Michael's side, passed away. She was sick for the past 4 years, so since I've known her. Something special about things that I remember about grandma. We were very lucky. She came to our wedding. It was her last overseas trip and she was there at our wedding, and it was the best. I think it was amazing that she came to our wedding, so I really felt like special that she was able to come. When we lived more closer to her, when Michael worked on Saturdays, I would go over and pick her up when she was able to, and go get our nails done. And we did that for like the year that we lived up there, and then she couldn't keep going back because she couldn't sit in the nail chair for long enough, and so we stopped doing that. But she ended up hanging on for another week after we had been told that she would have 3 to 4 days. And so during that week it felt really nice, and I felt very connected with everyone. We hung out with the cousins that were staying there. So even though the circumstances were bad, we had amazing time with all of the family, and we had people coming. There was lots of people coming in and out of the house to see grandma, and so it felt a really special time for the family to just share that bond. Something that I enjoyed doing during this time is I got to scan all the photos that we were using for the slideshow. And so it was beautiful. All of her photos from when she was a baby are just delightful. I loved looking through them all. And then the funeral was beautiful. It was a really nice funeral. Very well thought out and very planned, because it had been planned by herself and my mother-in-law, and my aunt did a wonderful job at organising everything. So after grandmother had passed away, a week later, Delaney, Erina and Mick's baby was born. And this is a very exciting time for our family, because this is the firstborn, and I am absolutely in love with Delaney. I have never felt like a deep love for a baby. I think it's because I have a deep love for my sister, and so I have this huge connection to Delaney. My mum Marco'd us a video of baby Delaney, and I just lost it, crying and physically like exhausted myself from just feeling like an overwhelming amounts of like love come through my body. It was incredible. And then my sister Erina was ready to talk to us, and so we just talked for like 3 hours, and I was just like crying, and my sister in Bali, who Jessie Ray, was crying. So it was just like, this is the first time we had seen Erina and we'd seen baby, and we'd heard her birth story and about Mick becoming a dad, and mum becoming a grandma, and dad becoming a grandpa. And I just love seeing my parents become grandparents. Like, they are so smitten. It's the best. Even though it's not my baby, I just have so much happiness for our family. And my brothers are uncles now. Like, that's crazy. They were very thoughtful and intentional when it came to how they planned out having Delaney, and how they have continued to plan out their entire life. I'm just very proud of them. Shortly after Delaney was born, like that week, I planned a trip to New Orleans with my cousin Shay. We had the best time. It was an incredible trip. We stayed really close to the city in a hotel, and right on Bourbon Street, and so we were in walking distance to everything, and it was just incredible. The music Like the smells were a bit like hit or miss. It reminded me of Bali. Like Bali has a certain smell and it smells like a little bit of trash, and because it's so humid there's a certain lingering that happens. But the smells of the food and the sounds of the music, the jazz music that's playing throughout the bars, it's like so beautiful. They have like beautiful colored buildings. Like it was just very picturesque in like and very diverse type of architecture. We went to the plantations, and I think that was where we learnt most of the fundamental history about what made Louisiana. On the plantations they farmed sugarcane and they had slaves, and we learnt about the families that would invest all of their money into farm sugarcane. And so it was really cool to see that history, because there's so much that had happened that was so bad during that time. Very beautiful considering the setting of all of the bad things that happened. The food was amazing. They had beignets. We would probably eat them every day, all day, every day, but we thought we would try other things. I'm so glad I got to try the po' boy, shrimp po' boy, yummy. We went on a river cruise along the Mississippi River. That was really cool. They had a jazz band playing. It was raining, but I think we made the most of it because the setting was really nice. Went on an airboat swamp tour. We had our very own Steve Owen tour guide. He was amazing. He could speak Creole to the alligators. The most fun. And this is my alligator shirt. People thought that I was working at the airboat swamp place. So amongst all of like the humidity and the history and the amazing sights we were seeing, my favorite part was definitely just the time that I had with my cousin Shay. I am so grateful I have cousins here in America. I'm grateful to have Shay here, because even though we grew up in separate places within Australia, I feel like we have such a unique time together here in the US where we can exchange our stories from our childhood and our teenage years and get to know each other in that way. And I think cousins are the best because it's just like another extension of love that you have, and I've valued that time so much with her, and so I felt like nothing else really mattered. I remember she was telling me when we were there how she was like, oh, I thought you were like more social, like talking to people. She's like, I'm finding myself like talking to more people, and I'm like, no, this is my time with you. Like I just want to spend time talking to you, because usually I'm really chatty with like other people when I go traveling. Like my sisters always, like if I go traveling with my sisters, they always put me in the front seat with the driver so I talk to them. That's how it usually goes. But I just really value my time with my cousin, because we were there for 5 days and it just very small amount of time. Went to bed late. We stayed up talking about the things that we learn about ourselves here in the US, and it's that time where we can exchange things that we learn and validate each other. It's hard to fill a void that we left in Australia and create something new here. Because we loved the life that we had in Australia, but that's not meaning to take away from the beauty and the things that we're experiencing here. It just feels like a very contrasting experience that we both can explain to one another, and we can see it because we're experiencing it ourselves. I just love that I have a friend, a cousin, a sister almost, being able to have that time. As long as I'm living in the US, we'll be doing annual trips together. So I think that's pretty much the end of the video, but I am super excited for spring, super excited for summer. We're going to be eating way more fruit and vegetables and exercising and going on hikes, and I just feel already like so much more happier during these months that the sun is shining, get vitamin D. I just am excited for these few months that I get to have. I feel like I'm a little bit more of who I want to be. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!